Shenanigans. Truth, lies, 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 shenanigans.
Oh yeah! Shenanigans. Truth, lies, 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 shenanigans. Oh yeah! Shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans.
shenanigans. Truth, lies, 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 shenanigans.
Oh yeah.
Lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Lies, shenanigans. Truth, 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 lies, shenanigans.
Oh yeah.
Lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans.
Good afternoon. This is Truth Lies Shenanigans, the live show, Sunday, December 6th, 2020. I go by the name Neo Nix, and I'm your moderator for today's show. I've got a great cast of co-hosts, today, so let me introduce you to them. Our professor, writer, editor, journalist, Lizzie Enders.
Hey, happy Sunday fun day, everyone. Still grading papers.
When were finals?
So actually finals, the last final I believe is tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
And then we have a grade period to grade finals, grade papers, and then submit grades. So the last round of grades are due on Sunday. But since, I'm an English professor, these are all papers. So they
Yeah.
all have to be graded.
So you have to
So,
read them and
yeah.
everything, huh? All right.
Mm-hmm.
And our rock star with the band Fallen Machine, our always thoughtful perspective, coming to you from Sudbury, Ontario, Robbie Rock.
Happy Sunday fun day, everyone. Hope that you're having an awesome day, getting ready for dinner. Hope the house is smelling really awesome. How's the Washington football team doing today, Liz? We usually get an update.
They play tomorrow, Monday Night Football, but I still have their colors on. In spirit. Woo-hoo.
And tonight we have a very special guest host with her own amazing podcast, the Ever Evolving Podcast, which covers love, life lessons, friendships, advice, life hacks, and much, much more. out of Dallas, Texas, Angela Sheree. Welcome, Angela. Woo.
Thank you, D-Town. What's up? What's up?
So the weather's
Toasted
good.
to Miss Angela.
So
Yes,
it's
toasted.
wintertime, and I understand the weather's good, Angela, in Texas.
Yeah, the weather is pretty good. We're getting a little warm today. It's been a little cold, so I got my short sleeves on today.
Short sleeve. All right, guys, for today's show, all hot topics. Rob B is telling us about a 91-year-old Korean war veteran and his charitable deeds. Lizzie is asking if Noah Cyrus's apology was enough after a racially charged attack on Candace Owens. I'll be talking about China's Super Soldier program, and our guest co-host Angela will be asking, can't a black family just be considered normal, please? All right, remember, our show streams live just about everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and Twitter. And for the first time today, we are streaming live on TikTok and Instagram at TLS Live Show.
What's
Hopefully
a
everything's
TikTok?
coming through clearly. Yeah, we got some TikTok people already on. So Marcus
TikTok,
Stewart, Bob
right?
Gordner, Aiden.
Is that place where we went viral? That's TikTok? That's
That's
where we
TikTok.
went
Yeah, that's
viral?
where we went viral. Yep.
Okay. TikTok.
So hopefully everything's coming through clearly. If not, I know our TikTokers and Instagrammers will let us know in the comments, and we'll try to fix that for next episode. All right. And make sure you hit that follow button. Share this feed. Invite your friends. Most importantly, join in this conversation. So make sure you're leaving some comments because we want you to be part of this show. And so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, wherever you listen, and also wherever you listen to your podcast, iTunes, Google, Alexa, Pandora, iHeart. We're literally available everywhere.
Yep.
All right, Angela. So we do have a rite of passage that every new guest host goes through. But before we do that, I want you to tell us a little bit more about yourself and your podcast.
Yeah, so my podcast is called the Ever Evolving Podcast. And again, like you said, we talk about everything that keeps us evolving and growing in life, in love, in the pursuit of happiness, as we say. That's what we're talking about. So I usually always have a guest that joins me to talk about a particular topic. This season, we're talking about our creativity and ingenuity as melanin folk. And so it's been amazing for season 3. So that's just a little bit about what I do.
You said it's melanin folk. That's fun.
Melanin
Angela,
folks, skin folks.
I don't know about the melanin folk because I haven't been outside during the COVID. So I don't know if you noticed,
I'm
but
lacking a
I look
lot
like
of melanin too.
I look like Rob B right now. He and I are like fighting for who could be the lightest on the panel. So I need some
Listen,
melanin.
my daughter told me that. My daughter said, I need to get outside. I'm starting to look like you.
Hey, what's that supposed to
I'm a
mean?
little darker today. But she clowned me. She was like, yeah, I'm starting to look like you. I need to get outside. So I told her.
All right, so Angela, it's time to put you on the hot seat.
Oh, no.
All right.
I feel like I'm being, I don't know, but I feel like I'm being set up a little bit.
Yeah, we didn't tell Angela about this from the beginning, so
No,
But-
you didn't tell Angela.
I didn't tell Angela. I didn't. Yes, Lizzie did try to tell Angela, but I didn't tell Angela. All right, real simple. I'm going to take you through a few rapid fire questions, and you'll just answer with the first thing that comes to your mind, no matter what that may be. All right.
Okay. All right.
Answer with anything you want. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right,
Let's go.
All right. What are you drinking? Water, coffee, soda, or Mai Tai?
Water.
Ooh.
Water. Yeah.
Yeah.
After my own heart. All right.
Yeah,
Money,
I'm a water drinker.
money, power, or respect?
Oh, respect. Respect.
All
I
right.
can't do disrespect. Yeah.
All right. All right. Rather be a singer or a better debater?
I actually am a singer. I sing a little bit. So yeah, I
What?
love music.
Oh, see, we might have to
Don't
ask
ask
you to
no-
sing before we close out.
Don't do it.
Yeah, that's how she go out. That's gonna be her parting thoughts, final thoughts in song.
All right.
In song.
Do that.
All right, here we go. Creamy shrimp risotto with mascarpone and a side of steamed broccolina or pizza?
Oh, I love me some shrimp and pasta and all the stuff that I don't need. But I also love, I'm gonna go for the healthy version. I'm gonna go
All
for the healthy side.
All right. Somebody cuts in front of you, And what do?
Uh-huh.
You say nothing or start taking out them earrings?
No, I'm saying something. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah. That righteous indignation gonna make me say something.
All right. You're on vacation. Are you at the beach or checking out the sights?
Beach, definitely beach.
All right. Posh hotel by yourself or camping with friends?
Oh, Posh Hotel.
By yourself.
We don't
All
do
right.
camping.
All right. This is the last movie you'll ever see, and your only choices are The Avengers, Pretty Woman, or Malcolm X.
Ah, um, I guess I'd say what was the?
You got
I
Avengers,
guess Malcolm X.
Malcolm
I
X,
guess Malcolm X.
Malcolm
Yeah,
X.
because
All
I know
right.
all the lines, so I'm always saying the lines.
All right.
Not anything necessary.
All right. Last one. Are you willing to go die old and poor or rich and die young?
Oh, I say old and poor. Money isn't everything. I would want a long life because I believe you can be rich in other ways. Maybe not rich in money, but you can be rich in family and memories and all of that. So I don't look at rich just from a monetary standpoint.
All right. All right. Old and poor. Old and poor. That's what you're going for. All right. You're off the hot seat.
Right.
All right. That was good. You did a good job. It wasn't too bad, right?
It was all right. It was all right.
Wasn't too bad. All right. All right. So let me tell you, our viewers, what Truth, Lies, and Shenanigans is all about. We'll be sharing our truths and opinions with you, calling out those lies and pointing out those ridiculous shenanigans going on. But most importantly, on this show, we're going to have some fun with some shenanigans of our own. Lots of fun. But we do have one rule for our host, and that is no cussing. Somebody tends to break this rule very often. We won't say who, but no cussing.
I'm gonna just talk out right now with the topics today, and we're talking about people calling us nappy ass hoes. There's gonna be some cussing.
Okay, all right.
Just to let you know.
Well, as long as you're quoting, All right. All right, we got a lot to talk about in very little time, so let's roll right into our hot topics.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
Hold up. Stop the presses before we get into hot topics. We got some breaking news.
Breaking news. What's going on?
Our boy Rudy, Trump's
What
right
happened?
hand man. So before hair dye, we're not talking about hair dye. We're not talking about pleasuring ourselves in the pants. We're not
The
talking
boogers.
about boogers. Trump tweeted not even an hour ago that Rudy Giuliani has tested positive for COVID-19. So
Oh,
how many is that? How many is that on Trump's team? That is
wow.
now
That's a lot.
Too
a
many.
close person in Trump's camp, a Republican, number 999,000 in the past 2 months has tested
999,000.
positive for COVID-19. Thoughts very quickly. Are you surprised? Are you shocked?
I'm certainly not surprised. And I've
No.
told you before, I don't wish it on anyone, but some people just deserve it. I'm sorry, the better thing, some people have earned it. I'm sorry, I should have said that. He didn't deserve it. Some people have earned it.
Rob?
Just given the circle that he runs with, no, it's not surprising in the least because it's just a numbers game at the end of the day. And, well, he hedged his bets the wrong way.
Angela?
Definitely not surprised. I'm like Neo. I don't wish it on anybody, but I think that when you don't take things seriously and you don't take the precautions that have been stressed, I mean, what do you expect? I don't know.
What you get? By the way, we got some laugh out louds on TikTok from Aiden. And we got Jacqueline Robinson, Giuliani, remember, Boogergate.
I mean, I'm with you guys. I'm with the panel. I don't wish it on anyone. I'm just always surprised, and maybe this is the naivete in me, that even with everything, all of the other examples of people within your own party, people within your own group who have tested positive. Again, Herman Cain died over the summer. The president had it, his wife had it. Everybody that went to a certain event, they were coming out of the, woodworks, got COVID. And still, they're so reckless.
Yep.
No mask. congregating, with a whole bunch of people around them. It's mind-boggling. It's
It is.
mind-boggling.
It is. All right, so
So,
let me tell you guys what our
okay.
hot topic, how our topics works. One of our hosts will start us out and tell us if their hot topic is a truth, a lie, or shenanigans. Then they'll give us a little background on their topic, and we'll talk about it until time is up, and our friend Genji will drop in and let us know the time is up. Then we'll stop, go to our live audience questions and comments, and then we'll talk about it for a little bit more. So make sure you're online talking to us. By the way, Mike Winter says COVID clan cluster. COVID clan cluster. Man, these tongue twisters, boy. Whew. All right. Just keep in mind we are listening to you, so make sure we're talking to us. All right. And once we're done, we'll go on to the next host and their topic. So for today, and Lizzie, you gave us the breaking news. We're going to start out with you. Is this a truth? Is this a lie? Or are we talking shenanigans?
These are shenanigans, slap your mama shenanigans. So
Mama shenanigans.
for those of you guys who don't know, Miley Cyrus has a younger sister.
I didn't know.
Who knew? Who knew?
I didn't.
I had no idea that there was a thing called Noah Cyrus until earlier this week. But apparently, in an effort, to go viral, to get her name out there, because all news is good news when you're trying to make a name for yourself, Noah Cyrus decided that she was going to jump in on the debate between Candace Owens and Harry Styles. Now, remember, we talked about Candace Owens several weeks back. I believe it was on episode 66, 65 or 66, if you will. The date was November 18th. And we talked about how Candace Owens had made a statement about Harry Styles appearing on the cover of Vogue, appearing in the pages of Vogue in a dress, saying, "Bring back manly men," that this is an offense to the idea of the alpha male, the idea of a manly man. We hashed out this topic. We dragged her. She was, raked across the coals on Black Twitter, on white Twitter, all over social media. And then, Harry Styles had some fun with it too. But for whatever reason, Noah Cyrus decided to bring this up out of the woodwork after we had moved on. And so she made this statement calling people a certain name that we really shouldn't be saying. But she was commented on one of his pictures saying, "He wears this dress better than any of you nappy ass hoes." Now,
Spelled Heauxx.
XZ.
Is that a Z? Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a Z. Not Liz, but that's a Z.
Hard to see.
So my first question to the panel is, what is your response to this? Very quickly, what is
Let's
your
start with
response?
Robbie.
All right, I did some homework just for fun because, yes, I had no clue who Noah Cyrus was. And while I decided to go down that rabbit hole, decided to look up some of the family history, if you will, and I couldn't find anything overt racist from Billy Ray or from Miley. In fact, Miley is often an advocate of disenfranchised groups, a big advocate of the LGBT community. So I didn't really see that. Noah's 20 years old. She should know better, but it could absolutely be a statement made out of ignorance, depending on what your circle is. While I understand that nappy is not the best word to go out calling people, I don't understand the full context of it. So I would like to extend her that same benefit of the doubt. But given that she comes from Tennessee, I think she understands the context of the word better than she's letting on.
All right, Angela,
Okay.
what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. If you don't know what something means or the context of something, you shouldn't be using it. I really am sick of derogatory terms being used by someone or something being said, and then you try to do this backpedal and this apology when everyone comes for you to say, "Oh, I didn't know," and try to play like you didn't. I don't think you would have used the term if you didn't know it was going to sting a little bit, and that's just how I feel. I think people need to mind their business. Harry responded, allow him to fight his own battle, and again, if you don't know what something means in its full context, don't use it. Don't use it.
Great.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so this is my thought. This is clearly a denigrating denigrating a racial feature. So if you're gonna, the word nappy is the one that offends me the most, obviously, because you're picking out a feature of an individual and then you're denigrating it. So to not know, to say, hey, I didn't know that that was offensive. That's I'm not believing that. I'm not agreeing with that. I'm not buying it at all, because it's just like if someone had a large nose and you start talking about their nose, or calling them, referring to Jews or whoever has big noses, you're just denigrating a specific feature of a race or group. So there's no way you can't see this as, even if it wasn't racist, you can't see this as wrong. So, Lizzie.
So here are my thoughts. First and foremost, for those of you who are familiar with Game of Thrones and Khaleesi and her dragons, Dracarys to the person who makes me have to defend Candace Owens.
I was thinking the same thing.
Candace Owens is not
Why we have to
the show.
defend Candace?
She is Black woman who is a very conservative, right-winger, Trump supporter, and who always comes out usually against the best interest of the Black community. So for me to have to sit here and defend her kind of, puts me in a mood, which is why, I have another reason why I have the bubbly out. But I want to see an instance where Noah Cyrus, Miley Cyrus, or anyone else in their group, in their demographic, is calling a white woman a nappy ass hoe. Nappy isn't usually a term that is used for white people. It's a derogatory term that is used for Black folks, historically, currently. So I guarantee you that it never would have occurred to Noah Cyrus to say this to Nicki Minaj. Okay, so I don't buy this argument that she kind of didn't know what it meant. Yeah, she did. She did. She knew what it meant. She didn't know that it was going to generate the backlash, because a lot of people came for Candace Owens, which probably thought that everyone was going to be on her side and have her back. But no, you do not get a pass. I don't buy your apology, and I'm upset that I have to agree with and defend Candace Owens. But as a woman of color, as a woman who has had that term thrown at her, and I'm gonna tell you about that in a second, I again pull out my dragon, Dracarys. Noah Cyrus, Dracarys. So this is Neo just put up Candace Owens's response. Anyone, again, she needs an editor. Anyone of woke liberals care to explain to me how Noah Cyrus calling me a nappy asshole? See, it's making me cough. Calling me a nappy asshole is not racist. You guys love cancel culture. At Miley Cyrus, come get your sister. And again, I can't say normally I disagree with Candace Owens on about 98% of the things, that the rhetoric that she puts out, but on this, she didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve that. And so it triggered me, because back in 2007, when I was living in New York, there was a bar, my local bar on the corner, Opal. I'm at Opal one night by myself, but I'm there conversing and socializing with a group of people, all of whom are white, so I'm the only Black person in the group. Not a big deal to me. There happened to be a small kerfuffle between two people in the group, a little argument back and forth between a guy that I was talking to and then another guy and his girlfriend. The guy that started the kerfuffle with his girlfriend, he got kicked out because he was just loud and boisterous and basically threatening. His girlfriend got pissed because he got kicked out, and so she turned to me and called me a nappy tar baby bitch. A nappy tar baby bitch. Now, mind you,
obviously.
I had never in my life, and you hear about incidents like this, you read about incidents like this in history books, or you hear them from your older friends, ancestors, whatever. You hear the stories that are passed down. But I, up until that point, have been very fortunate that it had never been directed at me personally. And so when she said that to me, and I'm not advocating violence by any stretch of the imagination, but I jumped outside of my body and punched that MFer in the face in a bar that was my local bar, where the bartenders knew me, where the bouncers knew me, where I was a friend of the bar. But in that moment, I became the threat. Now, in my head, I'm defending myself, but you're defending yourself against words. But I saw red.
I bet.
Red.
I bet.
And she, in response, she kind of tried to swing at me again. So I grabbed her hair, pushed her. She tried to run. And the reason why they threw me out of the bar, because they did throw me out of the bar, and rightfully so, I deserve that. The reason why they threw me out of the bar was not because I hit her, but because when she tried to run from me, I picked up a glass and threw it at her and clocked her in the back of the head.
Wow.
And so then that became just very outrageous. But when I tell you I saw red, I didn't even recognize myself. I had never been offended like that in my life. And I had never, at that point, hadn't even spoken to this young lady, had not said 2 words to her. But she saw that I was talking to the guy that eventually got her boyfriend kicked out of the bar, and she immediately went the racist route. And so that's why this kind of triggered me, because that young lady knew what she was saying to me. She knew what she was saying to me. She wasn't calling anybody else in the bar a nappy tar baby bitch. She knew what she was saying to me. And so
I mean, it's a straight, I mean, it's denigrating the color of your skin. So it's clearly, it's an attack. It's an attack. Whatever it is, it's an attack on your features. Something that she sees about you.
It's always done that way.
Right.
Yeah, it's always done that way.
No, go ahead, Angela.
No, I'm just saying, it's always, if you see these viral videos, if you see a lot of these things, that's always what is resorted to some derogatory, disrespectful term, like what you're saying doesn't get me, but I know how I can get you. It's always done that way. So no, you can't keep saying that you don't know.
I mean, it's like, when you see somebody and they talk about you have a bald head, or you're fat, or whatever it is that is, or you're too skinny, or whatever it is, people will attack your features and what they see about you. That's just the way people are, or big ears, or big nose, or, whatever it is.
As it relates to race, I often say this to people, because you hear all the time, why do you always have to bring up the race card? And I'm just like, no, racists bring up the race card. Again, I said nothing to this girl. And in her response to me, or even trying to get my attention, she went for the race jugular first. Candace Owens never said anything to Noah Cyrus. But in Noah Cyrus trying to say something to Candace Owens in a situation that had nothing to do with her, she chose the race card first. And so that's what triggered me about this. And I was glad that she did apologize, even though I don't necessarily think it was sincere.
Sure.
But I appreciated that social media, not only did social media gather her up, but it wasn't just Black people on social media. It was white people, it was Asian people, it was Latino people. Everybody was like, whoa, little girl.
I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, it was really obvious attack.
Yeah.
It was a really obvious attack.
So this was one of those things to me. I was like, so not only now do I have to know who Noah Cyrus is, now I have to look at her with the side eye every time I see her, because I don't think that this came from an innocuous place of ignorance. I think she was very poignant in her words.
No question.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts, Angela?
I just need folks to mind their business, okay? In 2021, we need to mind our business, okay?
People are all up in people's business. All right. All right, bunch of comments online. I see some people on TikTok. We got Layfish is on TikTok. We got Studly and Learn with SYD. Studies with SYD. All right. And then on Facebook, we got Jacqueline. It's interesting that in her rage, she pulled from that particular well, talking about Lizzie. Such violence, I'm impressed, coming from Kevin Thaxton.
Whatever. Kevin, tries to bait me all the time talking about she can't fight, whatever. Yeah, I see you, Kevin. I see you, Kevin. I see you.
All right. Liz threw down at Opal, talking about Lizzie. Advocate, coming from Jacqueline Robinson.
It's not a story that I'm proud of. I was very upset after that incident and very disappointed in myself. But then also too, I felt like, wow, is this how people see me?
Yeah.
As a nappy tar baby? Like it took me a while to get over that, both from her actions and then my response to her. And hopefully I have matured and will not be punching folks in the face anytime soon.
I see Princess Poo Poo Pants has joined us on TikTok. Love that name. Jose says on Facebook, I had no clue there was a younger sister siblings popping out. I had no idea.
Jose?
I was like,
no idea.
All right. Let's move on to the next topic, and that's going to be our guest co-host, Angela Sheree. So, Angela Sheree,
yes.
Is this a truth, a lie, or are we talking shenanigans here?
It's truth and shenanigans as far as I'm concerned. It's truth in the fact that it's a real thing, but it's shenanigans, and you'll hear why in just a moment. So, Sainsbury, I guess is how you pronounce it, is the second largest grocery store in the UK. So it's very popular, very well known, and they are receiving a lot of flack from their, I guess, people who shop there and just people in the area in the UK. They're not receiving flack for bad produce. They're not receiving flack for having a lack of items, a lack of toilet tissue and stuff like that. They are receiving flack and outrage over a Christmas ad. A Christmas ad about some daggone gravy. Okay. So the problem isn't about Christmas or gravy, but the public took issue to the family and the advertisement being a Black family. Okay. Now, this family isn't portrayed cussing each other out and twerking on glass and standing on furniture at a restaurant or committing unlawful acts. They're just, talking about Christmas. The daughter calls the dad and she's looking forward to spending time with the family, and the dad's proud of his little gravy. And people are mad. Supporters or shoppers are saying that they are, or consumers and Twitter gangsters, they've threatened and urged a boycott against the store, citing that the commercial or advertisement isn't inclusive and it is very divisive. I don't. Do y'all see this? Do y'all hear this? So my question to you before I get into my rant is, will healthy Black family narratives ever be something that is normalized? They're not doing anything wrong in the ad. There's nothing, disrespectful. Why is this such an issue?
Well, let's show the ad real quick. Let's take a look at it.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey, it's me.
Oh, hey, love.
How are you? How's Mum?
Yeah, well, we're fine. We're all good. We're good.
I'm getting so excited for Christmas.
Christmas! I just really hope I can see you lot.
Me too. I cannot stop thinking about Mum's roasties.
Whoa. What about my gravy?
What about your gravy?
Hey, you, what's going down?
Dad, not the song.
Gravy boat, coming to town. It's not any old shit. Just take a sip. It's filled with scrummy and still see bits.
How does Mum put up with you? Your gravy is pretty good, to be fair, and I just really want to be home for it.
So my gravy is the best.
Dad.
Honey, she says my gravy's the best. Honey.
I mean, that's such a great commercial, actually.
We can't even have gravy, y'all. We can't even have gravy.
Can't even. All right. Let's start out with Lizzie Enders. Can we just have that positive Black narrative without people getting upset?
I think yes and no. I think that the common good is okay with the Black family, because I don't believe that everyone in this country or everyone who is non-Black in this world is racist. However, With that said, there is a driving faction, especially in this country, and I'm not very familiar. I mean, I've been to the UK, I've been to London, I've been to England, but I'm not very familiar with the demographics there or with the cultural climate there. But so I can only speak from the perspective of this country, if you will. But and we've seen this in the past 4 years. We've seen this 1,000 times over with the Trump Fuhrer in the White House. But I think there is a driving factor that is intimidated and very cautious and very anxious about a thriving progressive Black family. And it's seen as a threat by a certain people because a positive, powerful Black family can't be subjugated. It can't be walked over.
Good point.
And I always challenge people to pay attention to advertising in this country. Just even for the holidays over the next few weeks, look at the ads that you see on television. Notice the number of Black families that you see where you see 2 Black parents and Black children versus interracial families where you have one Black parent and then one parent who is of another race. And I honestly, I would be a hypocrite if I was standing here speaking out against interracial relationships. I have dated more outside of my race than I have dated in. I believe love is love is love, but I also believe that representation is important. And so when you put out there that the Black family, a Black man and a Black woman as a unit, is something that is an anomaly, that's something that isn't the norm, but the norm is a Black man and or Black woman with an other is the norm, then we have a problem. Because you're trying to change the perception of what the Black family is. You're trying to change the representation. And so that's why this ad kind of doesn't surprise, like it's shocking because it's so innocuous. We talking gravy for the holidays. Gravy for the holidays. But in the same vein, again, pay attention to the way Blacks are in this country are still what our images are in the media. And it's not as progressive as a lot of people would think. Rob?
All right, let's get Rob in there.
One of the comments that flew by from Mike Winter was that Brexit is loosely tied into some racist sentiment. I will say, but there has been a rise of nationalism and populism in the last few years internationally, and I think that this feeds very well into it. As I was watching the commercial, this was a family Christmas holiday, and they're just doing normal things. Fantastic. But the fact that so many people are feeling triggered and threatened by this, just I find it shocking that this is still happening at this level. There's always going to be internet trolls, and people are going to hide behind their digital personas, their digital shields, and spout off all kinds of nonsense that they wouldn't necessarily say to your face because there is that false electronic courage. But yeah, like I'm with you. To me, this should just be a normalized thing, and I'm glad that you brought up the mixed family commercials, Liz, because then that makes it more palpable for everybody. Everybody's okay, just kind of drink it in. But you're right. I mean, white families have been normalized in media forever. So why should a family of any other race be threatening to anyone else? If anything, it should speak volumes to your society that anyone can kind of edge out that little slice of happy and just be quote unquote normal.
Yeah, exactly. I want to point out there's a few people online. So I see Jennifer Rocks on TikTok and Zoo Infinite. Jacqueline Robinson said, "Remember the brouhaha about the cute Cheerios commercial a few years ago?" And that's exactly what I was going to bring up. It featured a biracial little girl concerned about her daddy's heart, and he was Black and the mom was white. So it was an interracial. There's a interracial couple with a mixed child. And there was like a huge issue with that. Me personally, I wasn't surprised. I mean, there's just this contingent of humanity that believe they are and should be superior. that their way or what they know is the right way or the only way things should be. You know, the way I see it, nobody has a right to nobody has to accept me as black or white, Lizzie, or gay or straight
I mean, I'm
or
not accepting you as white. I'm not accepting you as
that's
white.
you don't have to.
Let's
You don't have to.
let's get that out there.
The
And Angela's
important
looking
thing.
about. Angela's like, what are they talking about? Neo's white girl. It's a
No,
long
that's
story.
No, I've watched. I've
not.
watched.
But you don't have to accept it. It's fine. That's your
I don't.
choice. If I choose to be gay, straight,
No,
if I say that I'm tall, it doesn't matter if you believe I'm tall or
It's
not. What matters is that I believe I'm tall.
no, that is
your business.
reality. You are not tall. Like there's reality and there is
I'm tall compared to ants. So anyway, back to my point. I'm just saying no one should be admonished for any of their differences. You know, that's really the important thing. You know, let people do what they want. And this is similar to what we were talking about earlier. You know, you know, and you know, what's wrong with showing black faces and white people having to find a way to relate to that? There's nothing wrong with that. You know, we that's the way we, you know, become a real society, you know, a true society where we respect one another. Angela?
Yeah, I always say that. That's super important to me to respect each other's differences. I don't have to agree, but I think that there is something to be said about respecting it nonetheless.
Right.
The interesting thing about this ad to me is it was a three-part series. Okay, it just wasn't this
That's true.
ad that was
Yep.
put out. It
Good
was a
point.
three-part series, so there were other ads put out with people of the Caucasian persuasion, of which no one said anything about. And so it's not that I'm surprised, but I'm sick of it. And I have made it a point to, for myself, and I get given myself this responsibility to call it out when I see it. People are never happy. Like you said, the Cheerios commercial, they had something to say about that. In this particular instance, people said that it should have been a mixed family to be inclusive to everyone. But
Mm-hmm.
when we see beauty ads and we don't see ourselves, nobody standing up for us and saying, "Oh, you should have put more, women of color on." We are our own allies. But with when it's the on the shoes on the other foot, everyone has something to say. And I think the thing that makes me so sick about this is if this was a commercial about criminal activity and violence, because we know how the media perpetuates and depicts Black men and women and families in media. If this was about criminal acts and violence and something of that nature, nobody would be saying nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They
or
wouldn't have nothing
Mm-hmm.
to say.
Mm-hmm.
not even just criminal acts and violence. If it was a hip hop commercial,
Yep.
if we were shucking and jiving and entertaining
Sucking and
folks,
jiving. Huh?
we
Yeah.
would have been fine with that as well. Like we needed to stay in our lane. We can't be a happy couple, a normal family. You need to either be criminalized or you need to entertain us. You got two lanes,
And I
black
think
people.
Go
it
ahead,
was
Angela.
interesting too is that the Black father was kind of the focal point too. So
Oh
that spoke
yeah.
volumes because we heard about the mother, but you didn't really see her, and it wasn't really the Black
Yep.
father, the Black male being depicted as a father. What? As a husband? What? He's in the
It goes
home? What?
against
Yeah, there was
the
one of those
narrative. It
comments. I
goes
just want to read it off real quick. It says, just wondering whether in their portrayal of a typical black family, the male adult is actually the father of the children. Quite often it isn't the case. I mean,
see,
really?
It did not perpetuate this stereotype that people actually believe. I grew up in a two-family home. And when
I
you
grew up
talk
in
to
a
people, they're
two-family
like,
home.
I did too.
it's like,
I
oh
grew up
my
in a
God, what?
two-family
It was a
home.
dysfunctional
Yes,
two-family home,
love.
but it was a two-family home.
It was dysfunctional. Okay, okay, let's tell the truth. But I had my father there, and my father is still in my life, and I think that it is, again, it's not something that I'm surprised at. It's not something that is, going to end anytime soon. But I just think that it's so sick because if you come to my home on Christmas, it's gonna look a little like that. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And I do believe that representation matters.
Yes.
And I don't think that it's fair. What are we saying when we can only put out or be in agreement with narratives that have mixed families? What does that say to my little girl? You know what I'm saying? Who, that's not how she's grown up. Her parents are, both Black. So I just think that is, I'm just sick of it. And I was shocked at the level of disgust, and how people
Yeah,
even
some of those
tried to
comments
make
were
this.
horrible.
Yes, and how people even tried to make this about the Black Lives Matter. Oh, this ad was in support of Black lives. How you get that out of some gravy and Christmas? Stop reaching. I'm so sick of people
It was
reaching.
just a company who wanted to reach out to their audience.
But then people want to ask why Meghan Markle wanted to get the hell out of Dodge.
Okay.
People want why she like, I can't do this anymore. They're coming for me. They posted an ad in a newspaper of my child as a monkey. That's what Meghan Markle had to do, and she's biracial. That's what Meghan Markle had to deal with. So it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I think my frustration is the hypocrisy from people in general, though. There are so many Black people that look for the right to be who they are, but they're also against interracial marriage or homosexuality, or they're gay people that fight for their place in the world, but then they criticize other people's differences. Or, of course, there are white people that might fight for religious freedoms, but of course, race and gender freedoms is a no-no, right? So the problem is everyone wants to be free to be themselves, but it's a rare few that actually want the same thing for other people.
But I think it goes back to what Angela just said in the previous segment. Freedom comes with minding your business.
True.
If you are not involved with what other people are doing, how they're living their lives, who they're sleeping with, who they are fraternizing with, socializing with, then you really don't have time to be racist.
Yep.
Right. And why does it matter to you so much?
Right. Right. Any last thoughts, Angela?
I just have to applaud Sainsbury because they did release a statement to say that we want to have a retailer that is all inclusive. So kudos to them, and I hope that we can just learn to mind our business again and shut up.
Let's see. We got a bunch of comments online. I'm trying to see if I can follow them here. Jeanette Brown says it should be a mixed family to protect fragile white people and ease them into sharing their stage while still centering on white skin. BS. Roka says, I can't wait until we are just family and not capital B Black family everywhere in the world that doesn't define people by color. Mike Winter says, objectifiably verifiable facts don't matter, Neo, ? Sounds like your boy Alf's logic.
Alf is, for those who are in the know, Alf is Donald Trump. That is
Alf is definitely not my boy.
Alf is,
you got the pet name for him, Mike. All right. That is it. That's all the comments I see. Anybody else see anything comments online real quick? Nope. All right. Cool.
Is there kind of...
Great.
What was that?
What was what?
I thought you said woo. I'm like, what was
woo.
I missed?
Let's do it. All right, ready? Next one. Hot topics. Great topic, by the way, Angela.
Great
all right.
Topic.
Thank you.
I've got an interesting one, a nice fun one. This is definitely some truth and shenanigans. Word is from the head of U.S. intelligence, China is actively working on creating genetically modified super soldiers. Yes, exactly like all the movies and comic books. A few movies come to mind like Universal Soldier, Wolverine, of course, Captain America. There have always been rumors of governments, including the U.S., doing this, but this is being confirmed by several of the big bosses at the CIA and intelligence. So my question is real simple. Real simple. Will the next Captain America be Chinese?
Come on now.
So I'm starting with Rob B. Rob B.
Well, if we look at, wow, like really just from a tech perspective, from a production, from a government setup perspective, China has a strong and rich military history. They have a strong and rich technological history. if we think that this hasn't been happening, the tests have been there. Absolutely. It's the fact that they're reporting on it, it comes as no surprise to me. So biologically enhanced soldiers versus cybernetically enhanced soldiers, all of this is happening in tandem. So yeah, if we're going to see upgraded troops, probably veterans who have lost limbs will be first ones to be up for the real nice enhancement package. But yeah, I, it's not going to be long before we see this, Neo. It's going to be the norm.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually genetic enhancement. So they're like manipulating DNA to get the best features, human features. Lizzie?
I mean, I think the bigger question is, and something that we need to think about, is the next Black Panther going to be Chinese?
That would be interesting.
That was my counter to your question. My second question is: so is this China getting to Trump's Space Force before Trump does?
That's a good question. Good question. What about you, Angela? What do you think?
Because the Chinese have recently been to the moon.
That's true.
I mean, just to
I kind of
piss
feel
us off, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. It's not new. It's kind of been going on. It kind of feels like the U.S. is kind of tattletelling or just trying to like, oh my gosh, look at what they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
That's
That's how
what it seems
feels.
like. That is what it seems
Yeah,
like.
and it's like y'all doing it too, but whatever. And I don't know. I think it's kind of dope. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't feel that way, but I think just like it's kind of interesting. And when you talk about like superheroes and nerdy stuff, I'm like, oh, that's kind of dope. I don't know, but I just think it's like a whole lot of tattletelling and just look at what they're doing, and to also create, this kind of media rivalry with the enemy, so that you can, appear to be this war hero when you do whatever you do. It's a whole little game. It's a little distraction from what's really going on as usual.
I mean, good.
Even very quickly, based on everyone's comments here, it sounds like a new version, a 2.0 version of the Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas now, we're not, in this, I guess you could call it a virtual war, if you will, with Russia. Now it's China. And we all know, at least from the current president up until January 20th, Russia has been his ally, which is something new for this country. China has been his adversary. And so this just adds another layer onto that and just opens up the conversation about, okay, this is what they're like Angela said, this is what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. So now we got to one up them, if you will. So
I'm curious.
I think this is
Does anybody think that we're doing it?
Of course we're doing it.
Just want to make sure. I think we're all in agreement that we're definitely probably doing some type of genetic modifications in secret.
Listen, you tell us. You work for NASA. You tell us.
We don't deal with that's the DOD. They do that stuff. NASA's just trying to go to space and get to Mars.
You tell us.
And we weren't trying to tell the whole world I work for NASA.
Said it before. It's no secret.
I don't think I said it before.
Yes,
I think I've avoided saying it.
Said it.
But yeah, so no, I'm certain that we're doing it at some point. But I agree with some of the comments online. I'm looking at is they're saying that we're probably more towards robotics, and cybernetics, like Robbie was saying. Which, yeah, I think genetic testing, I think it's interesting, and there's probably some value to it. But ultimately, I think cybernetics and robotics is where it's going to actually, where we're going to come out at.
But stop and think of China's history, even where sports are concerned, where they have done selective breeding. They've paired. Yao Ming is a product of selective breeding. Okay, your father is a gold Olympic basketball player. Your mom is a gold Olympic basketball player. We're going to make a super basketball player out of their genetics. And they did. So this is not a new concept for China. Now they're just going to be doing it in the lab rather than pairing off the right people.
Yep.
Which technically is amoral here.
It is amoral.
That's another.
It is against.
But it's not amoral. It's not as amoral in China, if you will. But here, you couldn't publicly get away with that, publicly boast about that here.
No.
Yep. I see a comment online to you, Lizzie. China was Trump's adversary, but they gave his daughter patents. Mike Winter's like, they've been rebooting the Cold War for almost 20 years. And Kevin Thaxton says, please don't talk about space farce.
I mean, up until January 20th, we still got to talk about it.
Hopefully, we won't have to talk about it anymore.
I mean, Neo could probably tell us more about it, but now
space, the space farce. Yeah, I can probably talk a little bit on that. I can't talk about the super soldier stuff. All right, let's move on. Rob B, is this a truth, lie, shenanigans?
This is a wonderful truth, and I don't do these types of stories too often, so I'm happy to do it.
All right.
Very happy to do it. So back in November in North Carolina, a 91-year-old Korean War veteran walked into a Food Lion store, and he went straight for the customer service counter. At that point, he wrote a check for $1,500 for the store's Holidays Without Hunger program, which has been running for the last 17 years. He also wrote a $500 check for 100 prepackaged meals for the same program. And Neo, if you could put that up on screen, it's great. It's a cardboard Christmas tree made out of food packages. There's also blankets and other things. These are for people who are truly in need. Now, the gentleman in question chose to remain anonymous, and when they asked about it, he was a POW during the Korean War. So he knows what it's like to go hungry. He knows what it's like to not know when your next meal is coming from. And during this COVID year, a lot of Americans, a lot of North Americans, a lot of people internationally have suffered financially. And when you suffer financially, your food bill suffers too. So I really wanted to highlight this story as we're into December. And this is traditionally the season of giving. It's the time of good deeds. And I wanted to ask my co-hosts if they have ever been receivers of acts of kindness, just random charities from anyone. Angela, we'll start with you.
Yeah, for sure. I had my daughter pretty young, so as a single mom, especially when she was younger, things would get really, really hard. And so there were so many times when local churches stepped in to like their food pantries to help us eat for that particular week. Local charities have stepped in to help me pay bills before. Like I am not ashamed to say it. Like I've come a long way, and I'm just so grateful for those people stepping in at those times because I didn't have it. I didn't have anyone else to help. And we would have been, homeless or, not had, dinner for a particular week if those charities hadn't stepped in. So I definitely have been on the receiving end. And this story was just, absolutely amazing. I love the fact also that he didn't want to be known. I think sometimes the gift and the giving gets lost in, wanting to post it on social media and just have your name out there. But it just speaks to, the kind of person that he was. And I think in reading it, how he got down to 90 pounds when he was starving and when he was a prisoner of war himself. And I think it's super important. I always say this, if you go through something, it's not for naught. Like if you're going through that, take your experience and then, pay it back, pay it forward and help someone else because you do know how that feels. So this was an amazing story.
Lizzie?
I mean, for me, I harken back to, fall 1996. I get a call from my sister, Jacqueline Robinson, who is watching right now. Our brother, Alexander White, was here in DC, and he, unbeknownst to me, had been diagnosed with AIDS, and he was in the hospital, and he was dying. And at the time, I was a student. I was a junior at the University of Colorado. I was a poor Black child. I had no money whatsoever. And my best friend's mom and two of my best friends' moms actually, they decided, that they were going to give me money to fly home to DC so I could see my brother in his final moments. And at the time, a lot of times when we are suffering, we tend to keep it to ourselves. Tend to not reach out or what have you, because we're proudful. And a lot of us have grown up, whatever happens in this house stays in this house. You don't let people know your business.
Yeah.
So I even had a problem, saying, I need to go home, but I can't get home. But because Brooke and Corbin were my two besties at the time, they rallied. They told their parents, and Brooke's mom, Carlotta Walls Lanier, she worked at Frontier at the time, and she helped me get like a plane ticket next to nothing to get home to see my brother. And I will always remember that. It's not something that I talk about a lot, because there have been other charitable moments, but that was a charitable moment when I was not necessarily down and out monetarily, but just emotionally and physically, and didn't even want to think about how I was going to solve this problem. But I was able to, get home and see him. He did pass when I got back to school, but we said our goodbyes in that moment. And that was the last time also when the AIDS quilt was on display publicly. And so I got to go to the mall to see the AIDS quilt. Again, this was in the fall of 96. And so that is a charitable moment that I will always hold near and dear to my heart, because they didn't have to do, I didn't ask. I just, was venting to my friends, and they rallied around me and responded. And I've had moments like that throughout my years. Like, your core group, your people are your people, and they will be charitable when you need them to be. And it sucks that a lot of people don't have that. But that's a moment that will always stand out to me 100%.
All right.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a tough one because I'm one of those people that I'll help the hell out of people, but when it comes to kind of receiving help, I am like, it's so hard for me to ask for help.
Yeah.
I'm more
Yeah.
I'm more over the giving type, but I've learned over time, giving and receiving is a fantastic thing, and I've gotten better at asking for help when I need help, and you know, and I think that's part of the culmination of this show. Actually, I think this show was kind of the first time I was like kind of really willing to reach out and ask for help, and then I mean most like you guys kind of came on board, and you kind of been just giving of yourselves, so it's been I don't know if that for me that if you're talking about some giving moments, those are the kind of the moments that I've really been experiencing is more recently because I was horrible receiver. I was a horrible receiver of goodness and kindness. So probably we only have a few seconds, but go ahead.
Yeah, kind of like you, Neo, more of a giver than a receiver. But I remember when I went back to school, having had kids young, going to university, being broke, can really relate to what Angelo was sharing. And I had one Christmas where I had nothing, and I had confided. I was helping out a friend, or I had helped out a friend in November. He didn't have a place to stay, so I gave him some free room and board while he got a night job and started getting his act together. And I'd confided in him at that time that really I had nothing to offer my kids that Christmas, and it was heartbreaking. And he showed up with his girlfriend at the time and her best friend. Unbeknownst to me, they just showed up at the door with two garbage bags full of toys. They had just done a run at some Dollar Tree, some dollar store kind of thing, but they spent maybe $60, but I was overwhelmed. I wept at my door. I hugged them, and they came in, and we wrapped gifts that night. And because of them, my kids got to experience a Christmas rather than a pass that
Amazing.
year. So I'll never forget that one. That was very, very special. And the reason why I framed it like this is because I want people to see the impact that it makes on us personally when someone gives. So, I'm a little bit older now, I'm a little bit more stable, and I am in a position to be able to pay it forward. And when you can do it anonymously, when you can deliver that random act of kindness for someone and they have no idea, it is so impactful. So I applaud. Thank you so much, all of you, for sharing your stories, and I definitely applaud this gentleman who made that donation. It was just absolutely amazing.
I want to share
So
some.
to the audience, got it in you. Pay it forward this holiday season. And if you need help, don't be prideful. Ask for the help.
And I appreciate the story because I think a lot of times people don't really understand that there are humans that are doing good.
Yep.
That are, trying to help and support that. We don't hear about it often, but it's out there. It's out there more often than we think. And even like you said, Rob, and you telling that story, I thought of another story from my youth. I think if we think back, there have been moments, in all of us where someone has reached out and helped us, or we've done the same thing for someone else.
Yep.
And just because it was so thoughtless, like we didn't think that, we were actually making that much of an impact.
Yep.
We don't think about it often, but you did make an impact. Yep. So I appreciate this story. Especially around the holidays, it's definitely important.
Yep. Let me share quick comments online. We're over time. So let me, Jose says, I have been the receiver many times and have no issue sharing. I love to pay it forward. Jacqueline Robinson says, every time I'm tempted to give up on people, I hear or read about people like this gentleman. Annette Brown says, I cannot begin to list the generosity I've received this past year. It brings me to tears. So grateful, so humbled, so looking forward to giving back and paying it forward. So great. I love all the comments. That's it for our hot topic.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
All right, we are going to jump right into our game show. All right, guys, this is very simple today. We're going to keep it simple. Thought it'd be a good opportunity for our audience to get to know you guys a little bit more. So we're playing Ask. I'm going to simply go around the horn and ask a random question generated by this app. And you'll answer as honestly as possible. Now, whoever has the best or most interesting answers wins the game, and we're going to let our audience decide who that is, and the winner gets the final thought of the day. All right. So, for example, have you been locked up okay. We're going to skip this one. So go ahead. We're going to go to the next one.
A great retort for that one.
We're going to start with Lizzie. Lizzie, what are you best at?
I mean, is there just one thing? Honestly, I'm best at being loyal to my friends. I'm best at loyalty and support.
All right. Rob B, have you ever had sex at work?
Take that question, Rob.
No.
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 You didn't seem too certain about that. Are we certain? We'll give you another.
Is that a truth, lie, or shenanigan answer, Rob B?
I've been working for a long time. I'm getting a little bit old. I needed to play, but no, we're good. We're good.
By the way, Kevin Thaxton says, so modest, Lizzie. All right, Angela, what do you value in others?
I value people's stories and how they try. I love hearing people's stories and how they triumphed and how they've gotten to the point they are now. I love seeing evolution and growth in people.
All right. I was going to leave myself out of this game, but I know you won't let me. Oh, my best childhood memory. Best childhood memory. Oh, I remember it. So, yeah, Christmas time, I received a guitar. It was like the best gift. We weren't, our family wasn't wealthy, so getting a guitar was a huge gift. And I was like, I tried to learn guitar and everything. I took lessons, all of that. So that's my favorite, best childhood memory. All right, ready, Lizzie?
Ready.
All right, what would you do with $1 million? Oh, you get an easy one. Look at that.
First and foremost, honestly, and this may be selfish, but pay off my debt.
Yeah,
and then the entire answer is selfish. Pay off my debt and then buy back my parents' house.
Okay.
Buy back my childhood.
Both of those make sense. Those are good ones. All right, you ready, Robbie? How many drinks does it take to get you drunk?
Oh, not much anymore. Not much anymore. My tolerance has gone down over the years. But we'll say by 5 tall boys, that should be getting pretty good.
Okay, 5. All right. Wow. All right. Angela, have you ever lied about your age? Oh,
For sure.
that's an easy
For
one.
sure.
I need to give you a different one. Hold on. Let me give you a different one. I would have known that answer before we asked it. Okay, if you could be someone else for a day, who would it be?
I don't know. Oh, that's hard. Anybody with some money, okay? Anybody with a whole lot of money. And they don't. I mean, they don't even have to be popular. Just if they got some money and I can, just be them for a day to pay off some stuff like Liz said, then
That's
we cool.
funny. I like that one. I'll be Zuckerberg for the day or just for a day. I couldn't last that long with being Zuckerberg. All right. For me, how did you make your first money? Oh, I got allowance as a kid. That's pretty straightforward. I got allowance as a kid. That's how I made my first money. My first job though was at People's Drug. CVS now. CVS bought People's. That was my first job.
Drugstore. Blow the dust off of that one. Woo.
All right, one last round. And we'll call it a game. All right. Well, I did want to say there was one comment I saw that Kevin Thaxton said that guitar that Rupka broke, ? Rupka being my sister, that she broke my guitar. I was like, yes, Kevin Thaxton, that guitar. All right, Lizzie. The world ends in 24 hours. What do you do?
Have sex.
Okay.
And then honestly, because I haven't, spoken to them or seen them in a very long time, I would get on a jet and go to both New York City to see my peoples, to see my goddaughter, and then go to Finland.
Okay.
To see my family.
All right. Rob B, what's the name? What's the name of your sex tape? He's getting the crazy ones today.
Why am I getting all the sex ones?
So, Robbie, what is the name of your sex tape? What?
Rob and JoJo's Adventures?
Rob and JoJo. I love it. All right. Angela, zombie apocalypse has started. Where will you go and what will you do?
Oh Lord, I guess I'm gonna try to get to my mama house, my grandma's house, because they always know what to do, where to go, what we need to, how we need to make a meal or figure out. And I'm running. I'm not sticking around to see what's gonna happen. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. All right, last one. What would your dream day look like? This is for me. Dream day. I don't know. I don't know how to answer this question. I would just be chilling on the beach somewhere. I'll probably. Yeah, with my wife, definitively with my wife. Probably, you know what? We went to Santorini and they have some beautiful black sand beaches. I'd probably want to spend the day there. That'd be my dream day right now. Right.
Osteoporosis,
all right.
high risk for fracture.
Where am I hearing this noise from? All right.
What y'all done on here?
Right. I know who that is. All right, guys. That's it for the game show. Great job, guys.
So who's taking us home?
We'll see. So audience members, make sure you let us know who won that game. Who won that game? All right. Before we close out, let's get in some shout outs. All right, we're starting with Angela Sheree. Shout outs.
So I'd like to shout out all the people that are watching from my podcast, the Ever Evolving Podcast, and the Ever Evolving Women platform. You know who you are. Thank you for your support and your love. What's up, y'all?
All right. Robbie Rock.
Shout out to Angela for joining us. It's so nice to have Neo, the only person who's not moving. It's nice to see the majority of the people dancing at the appropriate cues.
Yeah, I'm paying attention to so many different things. Go ahead. You're the better dancer anyway, Robbie. You're the better dancer.
Lose yourself in the music. Lose yourself in the moment.
All right, Lizzie.
What's up? I want to shout out to my people. First of all, my first family, Brooke and Julian McLean. What's up, y'all? Julian's been a little under the weather for the past week, so hopefully starting tonight, you'll have a better week and you'll feel better. But also shout out to my girl Mel. Love you, support you, have your back always. Mwah.
All right. So my shout out goes to my TLS team right here. Let me tell you, our audience, you need to know you have no idea how much goes into getting ready for each and every show, right? Between
No.
production prep, social media, organizing guests and co-hosts.
That's why
And we
I
do
drink.
2 shows a week.
That's
man,
why I drink.
this team volunteers their time to get these shows out to you guys. Rufka, Jose, Gianni, Lizzie, Rabi. My shout out goes to you guys, and a huge thank you for all that you do. And thank you, Angela, for joining us as well.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so guys, that's all the time we have for tonight. I'd like to thank you all for joining us. We hope that you maybe learned something, gained a new perspective, or even got some things off your chest. Don't forget, we need your support to keep this going. Like, follow, subscribe at TLS Live Show. And if you missed any of today's episodes, check out our clips online on YouTube, Facebook tomorrow for clips to share out. And don't forget, subscribe. Subscribe to the audio version of the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google, Alexa, everywhere. We're just about everywhere. So I had a fun time. I hope you guys did too. Make sure you watch our next show Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. We have a new COVID Chronicles. We'll be having nurses Yolanda Bryant and Yolanda Yvonne as guests to talk about their experiences on the front line and in the ICU. So I'd like to thank our friend Angela Sheree from the Ever Evolving Podcast for joining us. Please make sure you check out her podcast and Instagram page. You'll find her at the Ever Evolving Podcast. All right, looks like our winner is Angela Sheree. So Angela, take us out. What's the final thought for the day?
Take us home. Take us home.
So again, thank y'all for having me. Y'all, this was amazing. I was a little nervous, but you all are awesome. Thank you so much. Final thought, I think the consensus was to mind our business, okay? And to pay it forward this holiday season.
Mind our business, pay it forward. All right, guys. Thanks again, Angela. We'll see you guys later.
Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans.